Milan Baros joined Czech First League side Baník Ostrava as a 12-year-old and would make his debut 5 years later in 1998. It did not take him long at all to establish himself as a first-team regular, as his explosive pace and fine dribbling got the country's media very excited, and he won the Talent of the Year award in 2000. He was also quickly saddled with what we now know is so often a kiss of death for hot prospects, an equivalency to one of the greatest footballers of all time, as he was dubbed the Ostravan Maradona. He would score 23 league goals in 76 appearances for the club. Baros represented his country at every possible youth level, the highlight being his time with the under-21 team, for whom he would score 9 goals and reach the finals of the under-21 European Championships twice, losing on the first occasion to a Pirlo-inspired Italy in 2000, then winning the thing 2 years later as they beat France on penalties to claim the title for the first time. Well before that triumph, many top clubs were interested in the striker, and Liverpool struck a deal to bring him to Anfield in July 2001 for a reported $3.2 million. Due to work permit issues, he would have to wait nearly a year to make his debut for his new team, which finally came as a substitute in a 0-0 draw with Barca in the Champions League. It appeared that the young Baros would have quite a job on his hands trying to break into the first team. What with boy wonder Michael Owen virtually untouchable when fit, Emil Heskey well established, and El Hadji Diouf arriving at the same time, he actually saw a decent amount of game time in his debut season, as he made 27 Premier League appearances with 17 of those being starts. This was partly due to injuries and partly because boss Gerard Houllier liked to play an ultra-attacking lineup with 3 of his strikers whenever he could. His Premier League debut came against Bolton on the 14th of September 2002. It was an exciting game, and the performance of Milan Baros only added to that as he scored 2 goals in a thrilling 3-2 victory for Liverpool. His first goal showcased his great dribbling and wicked shot, and the second showed off his good movement within the box. He scored again the following match, glancing home a gorgeous Steven Gerrard cross to open the scoring against West Brom. He didn't manage to consistently find the net after such a strong start though, as he went 5 games without scoring or assisting. This wasn't helped by the fact that he was in and out of the starting lineup, as Houllier kept tinkering with his attackers, unable to decide on what his best forward line was. Even when not scoring, Baros's all-round play was encouraging. He was dynamic, determined and decisive, strong, skillful and single-minded, powerful, poised and pretty darn quick. He offered something a little different up front. Milan finished the first season strongly, putting in a truly marvellous performance in a 6-0 rout of West Brom, scoring 2 and assisting 3. While Baros didn't show numbers-wise that season that he could end Liverpool's reliance on Michael Owen, he was still a very young player, and it was his first season in a new league, so many were positive that given time, he might be able to do just that. Michael Owen naturally finished as the club's top scorer, hitting 19 in the league and 28 overall. Baros and Danny Murphy were tied for second place with 12 in all, but Baros managed 2 more than Murphy's 7 in the league. Heskey got 10 and Diouf only managed 6 in all competitions. Baros did enjoy some success that season, as he got his first taste of silverware in the form of the League Cup, and he did have his part to play in that competition, scoring 2 goals, including a crucial one in a topsy-turvy 4-3 quarter-final victory over Villa. Baros didn't exactly start the following season on fire, as he failed to score in any of his first 4 matches. His campaign was cruelly interrupted in something of a brutal bloodbath of a match versus Blackburn, where he sustained a broken ankle and had to be stretchered off after only 4 minutes, following what seemed initially to be a fairly innocuous tackle from Marcus Babbel. There was nothing innocuous about what happened 8 minutes later though, as an absolutely scandalous challenge from Lucas Neal on Jamie Carragher left the defender with a broken leg, and Neal quite rightly saw red. Baros would miss 5 months of the season and was clearly lacking some sharpness when he did return, and only managed 1 league goal in 8 appearances, though to be fair only 2 of them were starts, and this lack of game time is something that frustrated Baros to the point he was considering handing in a transfer request. He would later say this on the matter: "Houllier knocked the confidence out of me. I wasn't being picked and thought it would be best to leave Liverpool in the summer. So it must have been a boost to Baros going into Euro 2004 in Portugal to learn that Gerard Houllier was to be replaced with Rafa Benitez. And my word, did it seem to have a positive effect on the striker, as the lad was absolutely unstoppable. Drawn in a difficult group with Germany, the Netherlands and Latvia, while a few may have had the Czechs down as dark horses, I don't think many would have tipped them to do as well as they did. They won every match in the group, including an incredible and famous 3-2 win over the Netherlands, in which Baros was key. In fact, he would score in all of his nation's 4 games en route to the semi-finals, which made him the top scorer in the tournament. I think it speaks volumes that in a team with the likes of Petr Cech, Tomáš Rosický, Pavel Nedvěd and Jan Koller, it was the young Baros who stood out as the star player. Fate, unfortunately, was not on the side of the Czech Republic, and they were sent home by the eventual winners Greece, deep into extra time of the semi-final. Returning to Anfield, fresh from his stunning exploits in Portugal, and Michael Owen having departed from Real Madrid, there had never been a better time for Milan to show new manager Benitez that he could be the main man up front. And he kinda did that. When Baros was in the mood, got up ahead of steam and ran at opposing defenders, there was little that could be done to stop him. However, he was very inconsistent and just did not manage to hit the back of the net on a regular basis. His season was also again disrupted by some nagging and niggling injuries. Saying that, however, he did end the season as Liverpool's top scorer in the league with 9 goals. Midfielders Louis Garcia, Steven Gerrard and John Arne-Risa were 2nd, 3rd and 4th respectively, with his fellow striker Djibril Cissé only managing 16 league games and 4 goals before an horrific freak accident saw him snap his leg and miss the majority of the season. Liverpool made it to the League Cup final that year, losing to Chelsea 3-2 after extra time. It is not for that, or for their slightly disappointing 5th place league finish, that Liverpool's 04-05 season will be forever mentioned. The Reds won the Champions League that season, with Baros scoring 2 goals and providing the key assist for Luis Garcia's controversial semi-final goal against Chelsea, which sent Liverpool through to the final against AC Milan. Baros was awarded for his leading goalscorer status and started the match, having a key part to play in Liverpool's 3rd equalising goal, in one of the greatest finals and games of football that I have ever had the pleasure to watch, and about which all that could be said has already been said. Baros left a lasting impression on the trophy which will forever stay at Anfield, as he dropped the cup during wild and raucous celebrations at the team's hotel, denting the handle. The club decided not to get it repaired though, as it added to its character. Baros has since poured cold water on this myth, however, stating in an interview that yes, the cup was dropped and dented, but it wasn't him who did it. Still, it's a nice story. Having been told over the summer that he would be at least 3rd choice striker, with Fernando Morientes, Djibril Cissé and perhaps even Peter Crouch ahead of him in the pecking order, and this plan confirmed when he started the 05-06 season on the bench, Baros decided that it was best he leave in search for minutes, and he left for Aston Villa in August with 27 goals in 108 appearances in all competitions for Liverpool. Looking back on this decision with the benefit of 2020 hindsight, Baros has since said he considers the move to be a big mistake. I quote, "I was deciding to leave because I wanted to play more, and in the end I know it was a mistake. I was told that I was going to be like 3rd striker, but there's a lot of games, a lot of injuries. I should fight more for the place and try to stay a bit longer." From this point on, Baros' career would be rather unsettled, as he failed to find a long-term home. His 2 years at Villa were rather indifferent, as he was unable to find consistency and managed just 14 goals in 51 appearances and was transferred to Lyon in January 2007 in a swap for John Carew after just a season and a half with the Villains. This was a move that saw him reunited with Gerard Houllier, and his solid contribution of 4 league goals in 12 matches helped his new team to the Ligue 1 title. Probably the most memorable incident he was involved in during that time was unfortunately an unsavoury one, as he was cleared of racism but still banned for the final 3 matches of the season for an offensive gesture he made against Stefan Mbia, pinching his nose and wafting his hand as if trying to rid himself of an obnoxious smell when Mbia was near him. In the summer, Houllier was replaced with Alain Perrin, another manager which Baros apparently struggled to get on with, and after starting only 6 league matches and getting 3 goals under the new gaffer, he joined Portsmouth on loan in January. On paper, his record for Pompey looks abysmal, with not a single goal scored across 16 appearances. Dig a little deeper and we find that he had a big hand in helping his team through a wonderful, once-in-a-lifetime FA Cup victory. He won the penalty for Portsmouth, which Sully Montari dispatched to send Man United packing and send Pompey to the semis. In the semis, he assisted Canu's winning goal, although nowadays I'm pretty sure VAR would chalk it off as it looked as though he used the lower part of his arm to control it before shooting. His last match for his loan club was the final against Cardiff, where he replaced Canu in the 87th minute. Lyon decided he was a bit more of a headache than he was worth and sold him to Turkish giants Galatasaray for €5 million in August 2008. It was here that Baros found a home again for the first time since leaving Liverpool, and it was in Turkey that he found his shooting boots, as he would enjoy his most prolific seasons whilst playing in the Super League. His first campaign saw Turkey treated to a goal-hungry Baros, the likes of which that no other club had really had the pleasure of seeing. He finished as the Super League's top scorer with 20 goals, although this wasn't enough to help his team place better than 5th in the table. He started the following season in the same kind of form as he finished the last, netting 5 times in 10 league matches before, as had been a frustrating feature of his career up until that point, an injury, this time another broken ankle, would fuck up his flow and see him miss 4 months. Injuries would continue to cause Baros to miss large chunks of game time before what was to be his final season in Turkey, where he managed 28 appearances, scoring 8 goals and adding another trophy to a rather laden cabinet in the form of the Turkish Super League title. After this, he returned to his first club, Banik Ostrava, in 2012, before going back to Turkey with Antalyaspor, then going going back to the Czech First Division, where he would win the Czech Cup with Mladá Boleslav before ending his career with Baník Ostrava in 2020, aged 38. Looking back on Baros' career, it's clear that he performed at his best when playing for the national team, where he struck up a terrific telepathic relationship with all-time leading goalscorer Jan Koller. Milan Baros is the Czech Republic's second all-time highest goalscorer, with 41 in 93 appearances. He has virtually secured immortality in his homeland due to his heroics at Euro 2004, which brought the country to the brink of something magical. Looking at his club career, you get the sense of a player who never quite fulfilled his full potential, which sounds a bit strange to say of someone who had so much success. A combination of difficult relationships with managers and horrible luck with some really bad injuries meant that he never quite managed to replicate the scintillating heights of his international form for his various clubs, but I'll wager that he's remembered fondly as a bit of a cult hero at more than a couple of them.